What's up, y'all? Keith Dykes here with W.K.D. Construction. Welcome back to my channel. And if you're new, thanks for stopping by. You can always hit that subscribe button, man, and come back. Check us out all the time. So let's go build something.
On today's video, we are going to get into all things zip tape. If you guys have been watching my channel for a while, you know that I use the Huber zip system religiously. That's all I use. It's just the best system on the market that you can buy to put on your home. It's just a really good product. We can pretty much, once you put your sheathing in, you zip tape it properly. You got to zip tape it properly now. Your house is pretty much weather tight. And before you even put a roof on, your siding on, whatever, it is pretty much weather tight. You may have a drip here and there, but if you apply the tape properly, like what we're going to show you today, then you're pretty much 100% in the dry. You can go ahead, start plumbing, wiring, doing a lot of the inside work that you need to do before you can actually get the outside finished. But to do that, you have got to install the tape properly. It's not rocket science, but I've heard stories, I've seen people where they put it on, it's got wrinkles all over it, they don't roll the tape, and they complain that it leaks. Yeah, it leaks. You didn't put the damn tape on, right? That's probably one of the key components to the system is the tape. So they have a couple different brands, or sorry, not brands, types of tape. I think they may have 3 types now. So you got your regular flashing tape, super sticky. Kind of got a shiny surface on it where it doesn't stick to each other. When I first started doing zip tape, they did not have this type of roll. It had a paper backing on it. You can still get it with the paper backing now. But when I first started using the zip system back in 07-ish, it had a paper backing and an applicator roll. An applicator that you put the tape on, and then the paper wound up, and this thing was a pain in the ass. It had a little roller on it. But I'm glad they came up with the no paper backing application, because, like I said, it was bulky, it was hard, the roller sucked, it just wasn't good, and a lot of times the paper didn't even wind up on itself, and you had paper freaking rolls everywhere, wind blowing, go everywhere. But anyway, they've got the regular flashing tape. This is 3 3/4 wide, I believe. You can go all the way up to 12 inches wide, if need be. And the 3 3/4 wide works perfectly for all of your seams. I have not had to use a 6-inch or a 9-inch for any of my valleys or anything, because I bevel all my valleys. They're super tight. And the 3 3/4 inch works fine. Stretch tape. This stuff is amazing. We will get into this on a different video. But this is, I don't know, that might be the 9-inch wide stretch tape. But this stuff is crazy good. Like I said, they do have the paper backing, and then now they have a kind of universal tape. It's kind of like a zip tape, duct tape, but I use this stuff for everything anyway. Put you over here. I think the lighting's a little better. So, a zip tape, I get a lot of comments sometimes just on my flats. People say, you got to clean the tape for it to stick to each other. No, you don't. The only time you have to clean this surface is if you're going to use a liquid flash, something other than zip tape. Zip tape sticks perfectly to itself. I know it is. You can peel it off right here, but the adhesive, the acrylic adhesive inside this is pressure sensitive. So it does not get activated until you roll the tape. So that's why rolling the tape is so important. So once you do your overlaps, and you got to roll the tape. So You don't have to prime or take off the shiny surface to overlap your tape on your general seams on the whole building. And once you roll the tape and it sits in the sun for a few days, dude, it's almost impossible to get off. You can, but it's going to take some work at it. And this stuff sticks to a variety of surfaces. I use it quite a bit for a little bit of everything. The only thing I really found that it does not stick well to is concrete, like the connection between your framing, your zip wall, and like your block or your slab or something like that. It just doesn't do well to concrete, probably because of the moisture in the concrete. And that's one thing you do before you start taping anywhere, is make sure you get all the dust off. If you've got, you know, sawdust or whatever on there, or dirt, make sure you get that clean, just to have a good bond. That's just kind of a, you know, general rule. And dampness. So if you're starting to install your tape and it starts to sprinkle, or if it came to sprinkle when you start it, don't do it. It just won't stick to a damp surface. Temperature wise, from 0 degrees to 120 degrees. I mean, we build houses in the winter all the time. Where I'm at in Northwest Tennessee, it's pretty mild. You know, if we get to 0, that is super cold. But we average probably in the 20s to 30s, probably right above freezing most of the time. So I've never had any issue with tape being in the cold. Even if it stays in the trailer, it doesn't hurt the acrylics and the glue. So once you roll it, it kind of heats it up and bonds to that surface anyway. Rollers. I get a lot of comments to say that on my videos you don't see the little Z's. Voids the warranty. It doesn't void the warranty. It's just kind of, they came up with the little Z roller for pretty much the general contractor. That way he can come by and see that his crew did roll it. They make a couple different, I'll get into the video, but this is the Gen 1 roller, okay? This is my preference. I like this one better than this one. This one's got the little Z's on it. But like I said, this is just for a visual aid for the contractor to know that it's been rolled. And since it's so important to roll the tape, they've got it written on there in English and in Spanish. So make sure you roll the tape. But since I get so many comments when I do a zip system video, you know, a short or something, there's so many people that are negative, and people that are just uneducated, that don't know how to install the tape properly. So I thought I would go ahead and kind of make an educational video about how to tape your seams properly. We're going to do some flats, we're going to do an outside corner, and then the dreaded inside corner. The paper backing, if you do have the paper backing, that does make an inside corner a little better. But this roll right here, if you're trying to do an inside corner, it is damn tough. It's hard just because it's so sticky. If you want to take the time to do an inside corner with a tape, that's fine. I've done it for years. On this house, on my house, I kind of went a little different route. I took the Zip liquid flash and applied a bead of liquid flash on the inside of my vertical corners. It really sped up the process. There was less cussing involved, and it does the exact same thing. It makes that joint weather tight, airtight, using the Zip liquid flash, which we'll get into that on a different video too. That is a great product as well, made by Huber. So before we get into Zip Tape 101, I got to show you a little real life application where I use zip tape, and it has been exposed to the elements for, I think, part of it about 4 years now. So let's go. I'm gonna go show you. We got to go over to the barn here, and oh, got a little landscaping on the house there. So I have a bed cover on my truck. It's a roll-up bed cover. It had the, you know, that felt stuff on there. And over the years, it started peeling off. So about 4 years ago, I took about half of it off and I applied zip tape to my bed cover. And then about 2 years ago, I took the rest of it off and applied the whole thing. So my whole bed cover is covered in zip tape. So zip tape's about, what, $35, $36 a roll. So I had a little over $100, $110 in recovering my bed cover. Like I said, this thing does roll up. So I mean, it gets a beauty, and I roll it up like every day. And it has, I've got a few little lips where it's kind of come up a little bit. Right here it's kind of peeled up just a hair, but this from here to about here is like 4 years old. I mean, it's been beat in the sun, the rain, the ice, the snow, whatever. And it's held up perfectly. That's how good zip tape is. So don't let anybody tell you that it doesn't work, because it absolutely, by God, works. We're going to tape. I'm going to show you how to tape the seams properly. This tape is, I mean, it is sticky as hell. I mean, it is something. I've never seen anything like it. It is non-directional. A lot of times, you know, you would think you need to start at the bottom of the wall, work your way up, you know, everything gets flashed correctly. Not so in this case. I mean, you can if you want to, but really it's non-directional. It doesn't matter which way you put it on, as long as you get the full 3-inch overlap, it's not going to leak. So actually, when I first started doing this, the Zip System had a manual, and it told you to do all of the vertical seams first. It didn't matter. On the roof, on the walls, you did all the vertical ones, and then you came back and did the horizontal ones. So that tells you right off the bat, it is non-directional. It doesn't matter. You can read through the manuals. It does not specify which way to lap it. It doesn't really, I don't really start at the bottom and work my way up. Most of the time I do like how I read it when I first started using Zip. I usually do all my excuse me, all of my vertical seams most of the time, and then come back and do my horizontals. So let's do this vertical joint. Usually I will just start centered up over that, go up about to that line, make it stick about 1.5 inches or so. It'll hold itself because it is crazy. I'll nearly do the whole length of the joint. Pull it just a little bit, as you can see, pull it just a little tight. Just kind of smack it on there ever so softly. Full overlap. And that's that. Let's do a horizontal, and then I'll come back and roll it all. Come do the horizontal. I usually go into my window openings a couple inches. So once you roll it out, try to keep your tape flat. You can kind of see it. If you got a good tension on it, even tension, it won't have wrinkles on it. But if you're coming up or down, you'll see wrinkles on it. So just take it and then put a little tension on it. Just pull it just slightly. It doesn't take a whole lot, just a little tension. Let it stick. Same thing. And then we'll get our roll on. And you do have to put some force in behind it. You can see the tape if it's been rolled too. That's why they made that one roller. It's got the little Z's on it. That way you know it's been rolled. But if this doesn't have the Z's, it's just all rubber. But you can see the difference. Watch, I'll show you. I mean, you can see it kind of smooth. It'll kind of go a little, you can see the fibers in the wood.
all it takes. This stuff, like I said, is super, super, I mean, sticky. I mean, you put your hands on it, I mean, sometimes it don't even want to come off there. I'll see if I can kind of stick it. If you stick it to yourself, I mean, stick it to itself, you might as well hang it up because it ain't coming apart. I'll see if I can get the acrylic to kind of spread apart maybe. I can't get my thumbs off of it. So really, whatever they put in that stuff, man, it is badass. If you stick it to the sheathing, let it set for a day or two, then you try to peel it off, it'll look like bubble gum. You try and take it apart. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of not really, it's starting to a little bit. There it is. But after the sun hits it, heats it up, gets on that baked on finish, it is crazy. It'll, like I said, you start peeling it off, it'll look like bubble gum underneath it. Let's tape an outside corner. First thing you need is that your sheathing is exactly the same on both sides. If your house is perfectly plumb like mine, then you won't have an issue. But if your sheathing runs past on one side or the other, let it run a little long, take a router bit, flush cut bit, and then you can just trim it off. That way you have a nice square corner. Later on you may have to measure off of it, and if you've got a big old gap, then you're kind of in a bind, you know what I mean? So make sure you got start with a nice clean flush corner. I'm gonna grab my tape, I'm gonna run one side. I'm not gonna go around the corner yet. I always like to just basically run, I'll probably run half of it, stick it, and then start making my way around, just because it's a little breezy. A little more breeze kind of does blow the tape a little bit, and it can stick, and if it gets stuck to each other, then you might as well hang it up. But I'll show you how I do a corner. As I was pulling it down the corner, put a little tension on it, and then as you do wrap the corner, kind of make sure your one side's stuck pretty good. Just kind of flip it around the corner. I got off on my centering a little bit. That'll be all right. There we go, there's a corner. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Rolling the tape is very important. It says, like on the tape, it says to roll the tape. You need to roll the tape because that kind of fires up the glue, the acrylics on the tape itself, kind of heats them up, squishes them, and gets them to react with each other, I guess, you know, whatever the WRB versus and the acrylic, and it makes a hell of a bond, man. If you do it right, get it nice and nice and flat, later on you try to take it off, it's going to take some of the baked on finish off of there. So roll the tape, make sure you roll the tape, very important. This is the old school roller. This is the Gen 1 roller. I got this actually the first time I ever bought the zip system, and the tape used to actually come on an applicator, had a backing on it, and then they've changed that since then. Now you just peel it off the roll. So they've come a long way. They do have the hard rollers, got the little Z's on there. I do have one, but I just always use these. I like these. So Gen 1. So the first line of defense in waterproofing is the zip tape. This stuff is awesome. I've actually used it for a flashing that has been exposed in a little spot I couldn't get regular flashing on, dude, and it's still good to go today, and it's been like 12 years exposed to UV light. I mean, it is held up. I am impressed with the zip system. It is not directional, really. I mean, if you want to lap it, you know, start at the bottom, work your way up, that is completely fine, but it is non-directional, really. I mean, you put it on there, it bonds to whatever it sticks to. Well, not whatever, but the zip system for sure. Once you stick it to that coating, it is not coming off, so you don't really have to worry about directional overlapping and all that stuff. You can if you want to, like I said, but I don't usually worry about it. This is a very important connection, you know, waterproof connection between the roof and the wall. Of course, we will do additional once we get our regular roof on there, but this is your first line of defense, is the zip tape. I'll show you a little quick little tip I use to make my corners nice and clean, because this stuff is so sticky. If it touches anything, it automatically it gravitates to it and just sticks to it. So I'll show you the method that I've been using. It works really well. So just try to get an established point. I'm just using the dots on the sheathing to try to keep this bottom layer straight. This is my little Rosie. This is my sliding T-bevel square. It's got a round edge on it, so we're not going to poke the tape. To try to get your bottom established first, kind of hold it back. You don't have to push real hard in there.
No. Yeah, that one. Yeah.
And then just slightly touch the top. Because wrinkles is what gets the leaks. The wrinkles in the tape. If you got a little wrinkle at the top, water's going to find its way in there. So you want a nice wrinkle-free application.
Yes, sir. Anybody ever vapor barrier anymore?
And you boy, you stick it. And then very importante, roll the tape.
All right, y'all, so that's it. That is my little educational video on how to apply zip tape properly. So keep an eye out for some videos I'm gonna have coming up if I ever get off my ass and get them made. But man, we've had volleyball. My daughter's had volleyball. It's her senior year and we've been super busy, but keep an eye out because I am going to have some videos on how to use Zip System liquid flashing. If you've never used it, it is an awesome product. I really like it. We are going to, well, you can't really see it, but on the house where I prep all the window openings, we line those with Zip liquid flash, and then also I'll do like a different take on it and use the Zip the Zip stretch tape. Two great options, but we'll get the pros and cons of both. Once again, I am Keith Dykes. Thanks for watching, and you guys have a wonderful day.